NSX Type S is a pretty special car. They're only making 350 for the world and only bringing I think about 300 to the U.S. Of course, we've got Patrick manning the camera. Thank you, Patrick, as usual. And I want to thank the folks who have tuned in on Instagram and on the YouTube community page to ask questions ahead of time. We will get you your questions, but we will also kind of answer them live as they come in. And yeah, just to give a thank you to the folks who are tuned in and asking questions there. If you don't know, Instagram, it's just miles per hour. TikTok, same thing, just like the channel name.
Cool. Do you want to start with there's no questions yet and stuff, so you want to start with the Instagram questions?
Sure,
yeah. Okay. So first one, is the NSX considered a supercar with the V6? Asked by Jamari.
Jamari asked if it's a supercar because it's got a V6.
V6.
And that's an interesting question because the last two supercars, like verifiable, like I think anyone would call them supercars, had V6s. I had the McLaren Artura and I had the Ferrari 296 GTB, both electrified powertrains with V6s. And I think you ask anyone on the street and they'd be like, yeah, that's a supercar, right? So I think that the era of supercars having to have 8 cylinders, 10 cylinders, 12 cylinders, while we love them, and I definitely love them, I don't think that is the only qualifier for it being a supercar at this point in time. So I think this being mid-engine layout, I think that's another, yeah, supercar is a sort of ethereal term. It's not really a defined thing. Supercar doesn't have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a checklist, but I think the fact that it's mid-engine, for ideal weight balance and the fact that it makes 600 horsepower in this application, does 0 to 60 in about 2.8 seconds. I think those are all characteristics of what I would call a supercar. So I think this is very much a supercar. Let me also pop the engine.
Saul asks, is this the best daily supercar?
Oh man, I don't want to give too much of the drive review away because I will be doing that. But I think this is certainly.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so with the lightweight package, you get this carbon fiber engine surround, and I mean you don't get to see a lot of the the engine internals and stuff, but you get to see this little red piece on top in the intakes, and you get this number plate, and you can see this is they're only making 350. But this is 000 out of 000. This is not actually one of the 350 models. This is a marketing vehicle, so it doesn't count. But yeah, so I mean it's just. It's a beautiful engine bay with that lightweight package. All the carbon fiber really does help it kind of stand out.
What's the price of the car?
This vehicle, that's a great question. What is the price of this car? I don't think I looked. I know they start at $186. This one has a $13,000 lightweight package. It has the ELS Studio Sound system for $500, and it has the Indy Yellow Pearl paint job. I think it's around $200,000, $202,000. Yeah. The exact price will be in the description.
Black Design asks, this or the 296?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be 296. I mean, if someone's giving it to me, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone's giving me the car, you take the $444,000 as tested 296. It makes 819 horsepower, 0 to 60 quicker than this. It sounds better. I mean, like it's a different level of supercar. It's not their entry-level supercar. Already it being a Ferrari, right? That stands for something, but it's not even Ferrari's entry level. Entry level would be the F8. So it's like up a tier from that. So 296, that would be the one for me.
The revving part we'll get to later.
Yeah,
right now
do like one rev. I want to be respectful because I film here a lot, but yeah.
Okay. Another Instagram question. Does it come in manual? Do you want me to say the name?
Yeah.
Okay, Puman?
I
mean, I don't know if that's a joke or, but...
So that's I love the name because I thought it was funny. No, it does not come in manual. It's only in this 9-speed dual clutch automatic. Let's open it up. I mean, there's nothing to show because it's not a manual, but you can see that the drive selectors are those keys there in the middle, and they're it's a very Honda Acura-esque layout here. So you just have them in linear order: park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then you hit that again for the manual mode, and this is your drive mode selector. You crank it to the left or right, and that's how you get to your drive modes.
This or the Artura McLaren?
Yeah, so that's another would be considered kind of a competitor to this because the Artura is starting like the 220s. The one I drove was about 250. So this is the Artura. Artura, I was very impressed with the ride quality, actually. That was also a very daily drivable, livable supercar. I'm not going to give you my verdict quite yet. The 296s, I'll give you that verdict just because it's, you know, it's so good.
It was a really nice car.
It's just a tier above, right? But the Artura would be a direct competitor, so I'm not going to give you that verdict quite yet.
Really asks, better yet, could a C8 C06 hang with it? Can it keep up?
It definitely could.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Z06 is the new one. Is very fast. It's incredibly capable. It also depends on the environment, right? Like Z06, actually, it doesn't. For the Z06, it can hang everywhere. Like 0 to 60, no problem. Even though it's rear drive and this is all-wheel drive. You know, mid-range pulls. It's got the power for that. On the track, it's got incredible aerodynamics and just mechanical grip. So Z06 could absolutely hang with that. Another vehicle that would be a competitor to this.
Gabriel asks, is it worth it?
Yeah, I'll save that for my driver review and the official verdict from the driver review. But I will say that the Type S specifically is a very compelling offer because it's not only does it make more power, not only is it more exclusive, but this is going to be the end of the NSX.
Oh, this is the last one.
Yeah, this is the
oh,
last
what?
one, at least as we know it. They may bring it back. They brought it back before, but I think
it's a shame. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah, but this will absolutely be a collector for sure. So I think if you're just talking price point, not giving you my verdict on whether the car would be my choice, but price point, I think it's well worth it if you could find one, which they've already all been sold. And so you're trying to find one in the secondhand market, it's going to already be more expensive than the spec.
Okay, another Instagram question. What is the 0260 asked by Harrison?
2.8 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quick.
That's quick.
It's absolutely quick.
Another question. What are the driving modes asked by Alan?
Of course, as I just sat up, but the drive mode selector is that knob in there. Yeah. And I think it's got like a normal mode, it's got Sport Plus, and it's got track. And then if you hit the button in the middle, so you crank that for that, but if you hit the button in the middle, then it goes to an individual mode. You can kind of customize like throttle response and steering weight and things like that.
There's some questions that we're gonna ask one time we're inside because it says, will the big bottle fit? Oh. So once we go inside.
Yeah, I don't have the big bottle with me, but I will do a big bottle test for like Instagram and TikTok, so you can look for that.
What's the engine? Asked by Adula.
So it's a hybrid platform, so hybrid powertrain. So it's got a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, in addition to 2 electric motors at the front axle and 1 that's in the back sandwiched between the engine and the transmission. So it's got a 3 electric motor setup. The combined output is 600 horsepower, 492 pound-feet of torque. Jay
asked, would you ever own one?
This has been loud enough. I just realized this has been down here the whole time. It's probably better if I wear it up here. What was the question again? Sorry.
Would you ever own one?
Would I ever own one? I feel like that's an answer for my review, but you know, if someone wanted to drop one off of my door, I would definitely not say no. But you know, there are so many cars in the $200,000 territory that I truly desire that this wouldn't be like the top 5 for me. It might be in the top 10 though. It's a really, really good car. And if you're talking about something that you could easily live with every day, that's a big thing, right? There are some supercars that great if you want to take them out every once in a while, maybe as often as once on the weekend, you know, but this is a car you could genuinely drive every day. It's that comfortable.
Gary Bill asks, is it comfortable?
There's your answer right there. It's very comfortable. The seats are comfortable. The ride quality is good. It's pretty quiet inside for a supercar. So it checks that box. It's kind of weird.
Let's see. So will the NSX have a high price value like the Phantom since this year would be the last for the 2 models? Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of answered that already. I think that it's definitely going to at least hold its value, if not go up in value. I would be shocked if it doesn't go up in value. It being limited production, it being the end of the NSX, which is a storied nameplate as a Japanese supercar. So,
Accord official asks top speed.
Top speed is, man, I cannot remember. I think it's 180. I can't remember. It's going to be in the description, guys. I do apologize because I should have noted that, but let's just say it's in the supercar realm. Though I don't think if it's 200, it's not like far above 200.
Black Design asks, this would be a direct competitor of the new Huracan Technica, especially if the limit Huracan Technica made 160 released yesterday. Made 1 of 6 or 1 of 60.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see that news. If they made a limited edition Technica, yeah, I mean, certainly, but keep in mind, so the Technica already starts in the 200,000s, and this is a limited edition version of the NSX starting at 186,000. So Technica is going to be another step up. Now, granted, if you've got $200,000 to spend on a car, you could probably afford another 30 or 40 grand if that's something you really wanted. But yeah, so I mean, just keep that in mind in terms of pricing out competitors. This would be a competitor to that. It certainly would be cross-shopped if someone was considering those two cars, but those are also almost diametrically different in terms of the way you approach a supercar. The Huracan, very loud, very brash, and this is sort of the other end of the spectrum in terms of daily livability. You know, it's not quite as edgy styling. It's a little softer, even in this Indy yellow pearl. It's a bit easier on the eyes than the Huracan. Though I love the Huracan. Just
Imperial asks, what are the color choices for this?
They have a red. They've got a gray. They have this, obviously, this Indy yellow pearl. I think they also offer the Apex blue pearl from Acura. It might be as simple as those 4, maybe 5 colors, and they also offer it in black or white. But it's not a huge color portfolio. This is being, I honestly think this yellow is probably the best color for this car. The NSX in yellow, I just remember that from playing video games as a kid. You know, like
the old school,
like you know, the AP1, AP2 in yellow. It's like that's the NSX.
Soul asks, does it have launch control?
It does, and I can't remember how to activate it, but I will look into how to activate it before I do my drive review.
Someone said the top speed is 191.
There you go. So thank you. Yeah, I knew it was like, if it is 200, it wouldn't be high in the 200s. I thought it was 189, but yeah, 191.
Lawrence Hodge said, I just had this exact car a few months back and I miss it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is the marketing vehicle. There's like this, maybe one other version of the Type S that they're just kind of shopping it around, and I know I'll miss it when they take it away.
It's a beautiful. They've done everything really well.
They did. I think that the Type S version is certainly the best looking, but also like the lightweight package and the stuff that you get, like these dark gray wheels, the carbon ceramic brakes, like it just sits really nicely. It's a really solid looking package.
Yeah, Gabriel, it's pretty nice. It's the color right now, too, because of the sun. It's just like it's really nice.
Yeah, I film actually so I already filmed the first part of my drive review in this, just the kind of the exterior and interior, and it was kind of the same lighting, same spot, and I was just like, wow, this color is fantastic. You get up close, it's kind of hard on camera, but maybe you could see like this, the metallic flake that, here, come close, and I just want to show them, like the metallic flake on this is just just absolutely
I'm not sure you could pick
beautiful.
it up on the camera, but no, definitely I see it.
It's like pearlescent.
Oh, this is a good question. Harold asks, anything you wish that was better with the car?
That's a good question. I always like that question when people ask it. I think a lot of people would agree with me on this. I know because I saw it in a lot of comments when I posted this on YouTube. The interior,
it's lacking.
It's just dated. It's just very, very dated. And a lot of people are like, oh, how could they not, upgrade the infotainment in the Type S?
That was the
next... the answer is that this is the last model year. They're not going to upgrade something right before they discontinue it.
Yeah, Lawrence just said that.
You're using 9th gen Honda Civic infotainment here. It doesn't even have the volume knob, which was the biggest complaint people had about the 9th. Here, I'll turn it on now. About the 9th gen Civic, is just that it.
Oh, that sounds
it has
nice.
This like, yeah, I mean,
that sounds nice.
Yeah, so it's a nice startup, and unlike, for example, the Artura or the 296 GTB, which are plug-in hybrids, now it's gone to EV, but it always starts up with the engine. So you hear the engine on startup, whereas those two vehicles, they'll start up as EVs. But this infotainment, this whole area right here looks very dated. I actually like the drive mode selector, this big chunky thing, but I mean, just like, it's not,
like a Honda.
It's not super responsive. The graphics are not great. It doesn't have a volume knob. It does have Apple CarPlay, but it's wired. No wireless charging. Like, this, just the interior is, and even the gauge cluster over here, this TAC is, the graphics are pretty low resolution. So, that's.
What was the starting price? Linear crypto
gosh, it's 186, I think, is the starting price for the Type S, and this one has 13,000 for the lightweight, 500 for the ELS Studio, 1,000 for the paint job, and 1,500 for the wheels. So it's 203, 204,000 as tested.
Aaron asked, "What's your dream car?"
2005, 2006 Ford GT.
Yep. What color?
Everyone can say it at this point. For me, it's the dark blue with
The
white
two-tone?
stripes.
Oh yes.
Dark
yes.
blue with white
Dude,
stripes.
that's-
It's basically Doug DeMuro's car. If Doug wants to just drop that by my house, I will be very grateful.
Aiden asked from Instagram, initial driving thoughts, or is that for your?
Yeah,
video?
I mean, I'll share that mostly in my drive review. When we head out for the drive portion, I'll share some initial thoughts. But I just would say, everyone who's reviewed this car is always just like, man, it's the daily drivable supercar. It's not overblown. That it is a daily drivable. It is not unapproachable. It is not intimidating to drive, not just from a performance standpoint in terms of the way that it drives, but it's also like you just kind of get in this like you would any Acura vehicle. You hop inside, it's a little bit lower, but the egress isn't crazy. Like a lot of these supercars have these massive sills and they're super high up, which they do that for structural integrity, right? So there's a very practical reason for that, but they make them really irritating to get in and out of. This is like it's a bit lower, but you just get into it, So that's not a drive impression. That's just an everyday usability impression. But yeah, and then you just drive it and it's driving a hybrid, it just with a lot of power. But the way that you access it is very just linear. The power just kind of comes in and you don't have to scare yourself with the throttle response. You can keep it in normal mode and all that. And it gets 19 miles per gallon or something. It's got really great fuel economy.
Lauren said you could absolutely daily. Me and the girlfriend did shopping on it and got 21 miles per hour while doing it. So
21 miles per gallon. That's it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's that usable and that approachable.
Let's see. Someone asked. Oh, James. Yes, definitely. The paint job and stuff is done really well. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but he said I would definitely pay $1,000 for that paint job. Even more, yeah.
Well, because you think also, and this is the wild part about this car. There's some great things, and some the infotainment that needs to be upgraded. But a lot of supercars, you want to charge an extra whatever for a paint job, they'll be $10,000-$15,000 for the paint job. This is $1,000 for a paint job. It's
a beautiful.
It is gorgeous, yeah. So it's a ridiculous deal. And this is coming from a person who doesn't my default color is not yellow on a car. It's very much not yellow. It's blue. It's always blue. Yeah. But the Acura blue, the Apex Blue Pearl, is a gorgeous color.
I don't know if you noticed that and stuff, but it has a slit between.
I don't know if the buttress.
Cool. Yeah.
It's like the McLarens. McLarens do this. It's just to channel the air over here and then to get it over the lip spoiler. But
does it have a frunk?
Yes. It does not have a frunk.
No.
No frunk. What? Yeah. So I'll show you what's up there. I'm pretty sure it's just it's cooling. Yeah, there are heat exchangers up there. But yeah, you see that. I mean, there are these ducts here, which are pretty cool on the hood. But yeah, it doesn't have a front trunk.
That's a first.
Yeah, so you got the intercooler or the fan, and then you've got heat exchangers here at the corners, and some battery components. I think there's an alternator. Yeah, there's not storage here.
Jason
unless
said,
you wanted to use this spot.
Jason said, please show the car key.
Car key, okay, yeah, that's also kind of like 9th generation Honda Civic or Acura technology for the key. I'll bring it over to you.
Oh, okay.
So this is the fob. The special thing about it is that it says NSX Type S. And it's great that they just go NSX, they gave it the Type S, right? But this is a piece of plastic, just put on a rougher piece of plastic around it. And these are not aluminum pieces, these are also plastic. It's got decent heft to it, but it's just a standard, older generation Acura key fob.
That's funny.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, there's no more questions besides the ones that are inside. So
okay.
Unless you want to go for a drive or
I'll start it up.
Talk about anything?
I'll start it up from back here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or you be back here. I'll start it up and I'll give it one rev and then we'll head on.
Oh, someone was asking. Sorry. One day, are you gonna do a review of the Huracan Serato?
The Serato?
Serato.
Oh, that's definitely on the list.
Nice.
I want to get it. I really do. And I'll offer that and the 911 Dakar. Dakar.
Oh, yeah.
Those two off-road supercars, like how crazy is that?
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna be mobbing in that thing, but we are gonna definitely take it on some dirt roads, and like how weird and how wild to be driving a supercar off-road. I just can't even imagine that. It's gonna be crazy.
Sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, let's head on out.
Let's see. Lawrence said, pay attention to the engine sound. Acura told me that the engineers made sure not to have any artificial engine sounds in the cabin. They wanted pure engine sounds.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool,
I didn't
man.
know that. Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, Lauren. Is it Lauren Fix who's in it?
Probably.
Probably.
Well, his name is Lawrence Hodge? H-O-D-H.
Lawrence. Oh, I
Lawrence,
thought you were saying Lauren.
Lawrence.
Lawrence, oh cool.
Is it a hybrid?
It is hybrid,
Yes.
yeah. So that's the 2 electric motors up front. You got the one that's between the engine and transmission. So it's 3 electric motors, but it's not like, it can function as an EV, but there's not like a dedicated EV drive mode. You just have it deciding when to use battery charge and when to be normal. So right now, the car is still on. The engine is shut off. So it's doing EV stuff right now. And then if I go into drive, it'll stay as an EV up to a certain speed or throttle input. So it's based on like how far into the throttle you are, then it'll turn on the gas engine, or if you get up to a high enough speed, which is I think 30, 31 miles per hour, it'll kick on the gas engine. But you can kind of cruise around a parking lot or your neighborhood as an EV, and you don't really have to go like, oh, do I have enough range for that? Because it'll tell you. It'll either turn on the gas engine when it's run out of range, or it'll stay as an EV, and so you've got the range for it.
Bryce, as does have paddle shifters.
Does. Yeah, they're pretty good size in the back, but I can't tell if they're
How do
plastic or
you feel about the steering wheel?
Steering wheel's cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
It reminds me of like the S2000. I don't know if you ever driven that car and
Yes.
stuff, but that's how it looks like.
Yes, it does look like that.
Yeah.
Also, what it's got on the back are these really defined grooves for your fingers to go in, and it just makes for this. You'll have to grab the wheel afterward.
Yeah.
So like when you grab the wheel, you feel like you're gripping into something. It's almost like it's a yoke, but it's a full-on wheel.
Oh, how much horsepower?
600
wow.
horsepower, which is an increase of 27 over the standard NSX, which made 573, and it's got 492 pound-feet of torque, which is an increase of 16 pound-feet over the NSX.
Jordan asked, how much carbon fiber is inside?
There's a decent. Oh wait, it's supposed to have carbon fiber. Yeah, okay. So there, it's on the wheel, and that's it. For the interior trim, I'd forgotten that it had carbon fiber.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because it's part of that lightweight package. So this gets to be the carbon fiber, and this does look cool, right? So it's basically just for the driver. No passenger stuff is carbon fiber. You just get the, you get the suede, but it says Type S on that side, and suede up here and suede for the headliner.
What's your favorite daily performance car?
Favorite daily performance car? I mean, so this is going to be definitely up there. Here, so I'm going to so we're staying in EV. At some point I will, there you go. It's
that's very cool.
Quiet, very subtle. The gas engine kicks on because I just gave it a little bit more throttle and that turned on that gas motor.
It's pretty smooth too.
Yeah, and now it's back off. Like it's back in, so the EV icon came back on the screen, and we were doing 33, so I guess it's not just speed dependent, but yeah, at a certain point it was like you can be an EV again, and there's not like really defined regen braking. It'll slow you down just a little bit, but it's not like a plug-in where you can do the one pedal drive stuff, and that kind of gels with the other supercar EVs that I drove, like the Artura and the 296 GTB.
Someone said it's missing a sunroof.
No, because it's got a carbon fiber roof. So that's better than a sunroof to me. And yeah, and also like a lot of supercars don't have sunroofs. Like the McLaren 720 has the glass roof. That's very cool. The 296 I was just didn't have a sunroof. It's not a super common thing because one, it adds weight. Glass adds weight, so having that above your head, higher center of gravity, it's not a good thing for performance machines. You want it as low as possible, and you want as little weight as possible. So most supercars don't have glass roofs.
You think the price will come down one day on these cars? As a collector,
I don't. If Acura is really Honda Acura are really done with the NSX, then I don't think the prices are going to come down. Even though, so it's kind of weird because I do think that purely internal combustion vehicles that have some exclusivity and ended their runs at a certain point, those might carry their values or at least increase their values quicker as we get into like a fully EV, hydrogen, whatever powertrain future. But I don't think that this will lose its value over time, because even though it's a hybrid, it's still a very important nameplate. NSX means something in the enthusiast community.
This is a good question. What do you think they improve in this version from the previous one?
I think desirability is a little, even though that's sort of like, it's subjective, and it's just hard to put your finger on it. But I think it's the carbon fiber, it's the special wheels, it's the limited production, it's the Type S name. All of that kind of increases desirability, which frankly the NSX needed, because people would often forget about it amidst the other supercars that were available, which were flashier and just potentially more lustful. Whereas the Type S, I kind of think, brings back a little desirability to this nameplate.
GB, yes. It's super smooth. It's kind of crazy too.
Yeah, the ride is so good, right?
Oh, he was talking about the seamless transition from EV to EV mode. It's like it's super smooth.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jay Gold asks, do you get a lot of head turns with this car?
Yes. Not as many as I kind of expected. I think the yellow does it, but yeah, I mean, you look around, you see some people take notice of it, but others, I was just noticing come up in traffic, and I'd be sitting at a stoplight, and I just peek around just every so often just to see if people are looking at the car that I'm driving, and very few people were looking over. So it's kind of interesting to me, because I would look at this car, because it's
definitely
the color, it's the lowness, it's a super low, has the supercar proportions. So I mean, I'd take a look.
And you feel good too. It's your height.
Yeah, I've got headroom here. As you said, it's just easy to drive, but then you can turn the dial over, you hold it, you go into a track mode. There you go. Turns off traction control, and then you kind of just put your foot down.
Wow.
It's plenty quick, right?
Wow.
It's not ferociously loud, and it's so smooth in the acceleration.
Wow.
Very few supercars accelerate just this gently. It's just like you put your foot in, it's like, okay. But then quickly you're going very, very fast.
GB said, does it feel faster than 600 horsepower?
Yeah, it feels 600 horsepower.
Yeah, it feels,
right? Which is a lot of power, right?
The thing is that it's smooth.
It's
smooth. It's not rough, like.
Yeah, it's silky smooth. Like a lot of other supercars will act, like the Huracan is an example. They'll make it rougher on purpose, right? Because it's the sense of occasion, and some people really want that. But this is just very fast and smooth.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't need an exhaust though. That's the only thing it's missing, but I think it's just from outside.
Yeah, well, I mean, to Lawrence's point, they didn't pipe in noise.
Oh yeah.
And so many other cars do
that.
Where you're like, oh, it's very loud. Nah, it's not any louder than it would be if you were outside the vehicle, but I'm sure the experience outside is better than it is inside, just because you've got the glass partition there, and you don't have like a hot pipe coming in, bringing noise into the car, and certainly not anything through the speakers, which I really do appreciate.
Yeah, that's really good. wow, this car needs to be on the track.
Yeah,
This would be.
And I have driven an NSX on track, and I was very, very impressed with it. It really just came into its own there, and so I'm sure the Type S would be even more so. They shaved a little bit of weight. They improved the aerodynamics. I didn't point out. I mean, no one asked about it, but the diffuser in the back is from the NSX GT3 race car. So you know they worked on the aerodynamics to make it something extra special for track duty.
Sorry guys, that was kind of hard. Let's see, Aurelia asks, is this a DCT dual clutch transmission?
Yes, it's a 9-speed dual clutch.
And speaking of smooth, is the power delivery linear from low RPMs to redline?
Yeah, low RPMs, it waits a second, so it's like the turbos are doing their thing, they're spooling up. But it's interesting because, like, you know, you've got the hybrid powertrain, but the electrified instant torque doesn't behave the precise same way as like the Artura or in the 296 GTB, where it's like, hey, that takes care of you first and then the turbos. This just has a little bit of kind of latency to the way that it accelerates. So let's do from like 3,000 RPM. There's just that little hesitation, and I'm in the track drive mode. This is as aggressive as it gets. And there's just a little wait there, but I really do think they do that on purpose to give you a certain drive experience that is just smooth, right? So they could probably make it more aggressive, and I'll just do manual mode, just kind of force it. So first gear.
I love it that smooth. That's like...
Yeah, but exactly, it's so nice. It's like you're never punishing yourself. You're just having fun, but it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's I like it. How does the launch control feel? Is it brutal? No, it's super smooth.
Yeah,
super
we didn't do a launch control yet.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember how you activate it. But
Lawrence, maybe Lawrence knows how.
Yeah, maybe Lawrence. Do you know how you do the launch control in this thing? If you're still
there.
Because yeah, I've done a launch control in an NSX before. I just can't remember how it's done.
Adam asks, how would you compare it to a C8?
It's actually a very interesting comparison. Even just thinking the regular C8, because the C8, it doesn't have the same level of ride comfort. The C8 is similarly smooth in the power delivery. Obviously, it's not a hybrid. It weighs a little bit less. It is mid-engine like this. I think this looks better than the C8.
Yeah.
But also just rarity. Rarity counts for something, because the C8, at least near us, we see them all over the place.
Yeah, there's
right?
a bunch here.
And I think that's probably more than just true for Southern California. Like, you see C8s a lot. You hardly ever see NSXs, and you certainly...
It's rare seeing one.
Yeah, and
it's
you certainly
rare.
wouldn't see a Type S. I saw one Type S at a car show so far, but 3000 GT over there. Check this out, this red one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just covered by the Kia Sorento. But that's a rare, and it looked like it was in gorgeous shape.
How is that headroom, knee room? Does the guy fit 6'3"? You're
6'3", so I'm 6 feet. But I have a long torso. Legroom doesn't seem to be an issue, and I can actually make the seat go back further. So if you didn't have like a...
Yeah, you look comfortable too.
If you didn't have a crazy long torso, I think you'd be fine. I really think you could fit, and that's... Again, it leans into, because not every supercar can fit tall people. I think this one is kind of made for people who are longer. You got the turbos, kind of like the compressors.
Wow, that's super smooth, man.
And then the blow-off noise.
No fake sounds from the speaker. There's
nothing. No, it's just...
It's straight, just the engine noise.
Yeah,
is the cockpit a little tight? No.
No.
You
tell me about the seats.
No, seats are comfortable.
They're comfortable, but like, are the bolsters too tight? That's my question for you. Because we're, similarly not fat, whatever.
They feel. Well, obviously I'm smaller and stuff, but they fit me well.
Fit you well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, the only thing about them, they are incredibly comfortable. The only thing about them is that
too tight.
I feel like the bolsters might be a little too tight, and I can't.
Maybe you have to
adjust
break
it.
them in.
I mean, we got 6,000 miles in this car. I feel like
so
they're
it's
broken
been-
in by a number of journalists before me, so I think it's just their design. But yeah, I wish they widened out just a little bit.
Hello from Argentina.
Hello.
Cool. That's
I don't
very
think
cool.
we've had anyone from Argentina before.
That's cool.
Thanks for joining. Welcome to the NSX Type S.
You know, it's the area that we're at and stuff that the video quality like dies down. For some reason, it's kind of weird. That has like patchy areas.
Yeah,
and
so
stuff.
that's why I tried not to go too far
Yeah.
because remember we go up too far and it just cuts out completely. It's a
Sorry though.
VW thing right there. We're seeing some interesting cars today.
Is it a very modifiable or this car? Would you keep it stock?
I'd change out the wheels. I don't like the wheels, but they also like these were an option. These $1,500 wheels. So I would just not. I'd get the whatever factory wheels they put on the Type S. I would change those out for some really special wheels because I think that would make the whole exterior kind of just sit perfectly. Because the wheels in the dark gray don't do anything for me. It's not that the design's bad. I think it's just the gray. The gray's just like flat. And Acura does that for the. They do it for a couple vehicles. They do it also for the. Oh, not the Integra. What's the one? TLX. They do it for the TLX Type S, which is gray. And I'm like, oh, it's boring.
How's handling?
It's great. It's as smooth as the acceleration is. This car just feels extremely confident doing just about anything.
That's sad that they're not making anymore. I hope they do. Maybe, I mean, anything
might
can
come
change.
back.
Yeah, you
It
know.
might come back, but I mean, if it does come back, it'll be absolutely like an all-electric thing. You know,
Oh, you're
they were bridging the gap here, getting people on board with a conventional hybrid. So you know the next thing they're going to do is just an EV if they bring the NSX name back. I would be surprised if they don't.
Someone said, oh, hi host over said, Acura needs help in picking out wheels.
They really do. Like, I've never been thrilled with their wheels. Like, their exteriors have looked really much better over the years. After that beak, they had the years of the beak, which looked terrible. Following, like, you know, the 08 TL looked so, that was peak Acura design. That was so good. But then they did the beak period from like 2010 to 2016 or 17. Then they fixed it in like 18, 19. But their wheels are still just like, come on, guys.
Oh, really? I'm sorry for asking, but have you heard anything about the R36 GTR?
I haven't. You don't have to be sorry for asking. You can ask me.
No, it's because he has. I'm sorry. It's kind of hard sometimes, like reading all the questions and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard anything about it?
I haven't. You know, that's another one like that. Some of these Japanese sports car manufacturers, like, they know that people will continue to buy certain cars to whatever degree they're currently buying them. And so the GTR in the current generation, the R35, they just continue to kind of nurse that one along. But it's not just the Japanese manufacturers, you know, Dodge until now, killing the Challenger and Charger. They're just like, new coat of paint? Good. Carried on for another year. So it's not just you know, Japanese manufacturers that do that. American manufacturers do the same thing. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about the 6. Like, we were supposed to have it like 2 years ago, and we haven't. So you know, some people could blame COVID for that. But I think, you know, fingers crossed they'll have it in the next year or two. Look at the R36, because I think Nissan needs that to really kind of like elevate their stature a bit, because their cars have kind of fallen flat recently.
Franco from Argentina said, I watch all the videos on your channel. Love the reviews of all your cars you make. Here in Argentina, we're many fans of yours. Vale, dude.
Thank you.
Vale means like cool, like yes. That's cool, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support.
South Africa in the house now. That's cool, man.
Cool. International audience, love
it. James, it's outdated. I mean, this is the one where you get the Honda Civic.
Gen Honda Civic. So this is 2 generations old Honda Civic infotainment stuff here.
Yeah, it literally reminds you of that. That's what it is.
Yeah, and so it just like, it's so like, it's small. It's the graphics are like really outdated. No volume knob is kind of irritating, and no wireless CarPlay. At least it has CarPlay, because Honda was pretty early on that. So they were just like, oh, we can just continue with this. So that's what they did. It would have been nice if they had just kind of slapped in the new one, if they could have fit it, but they just, the thing is, they had already shaped this dashboard. They're not going to create a new dashboard design for one more model year car to fit a new infotainment system?
Oh, this is a good question. Well, this is a question about your car, your Blackwing.
Oh yeah.
Now that you've driven for a while, how many miles did you put in so far?
I've only got about 1,000 miles. I wish I had more, guys. But honestly, I'm reviewing.
You've been busy too, though. You've been busy.
So many new cars. The birth of my second
That's
child.
right.
I wasn't driving.
Congrats,
a ton.
by the way.
Thank you. So yeah, I haven't put a ton of miles, but I did just make another video about after, you know, kind of an update, right? I've had the car for now 4 months, and so I just did an update video of, like, you know, how I'm feeling about the car, what I love about it, and then I'm gonna have 2 more videos. Well, one, I'm gonna be interviewing Forrest Jones of Forrest Auto Reviews. He's a good friend of mine. I'll interview him this coming week, and we'll have a new Driven Diaries podcast episode for that, and that'll be in the Blackwing, of course. And then I also am doing 2 more videos on the Blackwing. One, you know, top things I love about it, and then another top things that really annoy me about it. So, because I have now developed that list. I've driven it enough to know, like, hey, these things are pretty irritating, or hey, these things.
But in person,
amazing.
the car is really nice. Man.
Yeah.
The car, Jesus Christ, that's.
Yeah, I love the color. I love
Yeah.
the driving experience. It's such a special car. But yeah, unless we got any more questions, I think that's probably gonna do it.
Grable asked, which car are you excited to drive in the future?
Good question. The next one.
Cool.
No, I mean that's the cop out. But I'm just like, I book the cars that I really want to drive, right? Sometimes they're like super exotic, right? But sometimes they're like, I drove the Maverick Tremor because I was so interested in it. I drove the first Maverick regular one, and I was like, this is such a cool car. I want to drive the Tremor version. So I book the cars that I want to drive. So I'm always excited about the next one. I really am. I truly am, and I hope that comes across in my videos. But
it does, man. Your videos are pretty good, dude. I love them.
Thanks, man.
I mean, you have fans, dude. Hey, it's a big deal. Love from India, too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let's see. If you hold down the right paddle shifter while driving, does it shift into the lowest gear possible for increased acceleration?
Left paddle will do that. Yeah, if you hold down the left paddle, the downshift paddle, it has to be more than half a second. If you do it like 0.6 of a second, then it'll downshift all the way to the lowest gear possible. For, you know, if you want to, like, oh, I gotta go, you could, you know, do this and then hit the throttle, or you just hold the paddle and then you punch it, which is kind of nice. It's sort of like a push to go, pass power.
Miles, would you make a video on the LFA?
I would love to. I so want to drive the LFA. I don't know anyone with an LFA. If anyone knows anyone with an LFA, that is like top 5 cars I desperately want to drive. In addition to the GT, and I want to drive a Koenigsegg so bad. Yeah, there's a small list of cars that I'm just desperate to drive that I can't get my hands on.
You drove a Bugatti? I mean, that's a big deal.
Hey, no, I'm not discounting the cars I have driven. Like, love those cars, but like, I desperately want to drive wouldn't you love to be in a Koenigsegg? Yeah. You kidding me?
That's the quality of that is just insane.
The engineering is wild. So Koenigsegg's high on the list, LFA's high on the list, GT's high on the list, and I got a couple others. I would also want to drive the. What's the name of the? I'm kind of whatever on the Lycan Hypersport. But there was. I really want to drive a Noble, like any Noble, like the M600. That would be wild.
I have to go to Dubai for that or something.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see. The short guy said, "Can I get a shout out on the live stream?" Well, there you go, man.
What's up, short guy?
The short guy.
The short guy. Yeah. Guys, so I will have a drive review of this one. I'll also have a night drive. Zent's going to take this one out tomorrow night for a night drive. And big bottle test coming, all the other good short form stuff coming. And thank you guys for spending some Saturday with me.
And if you guys haven't watched the Ferrari video, you guys should watch it. I love it.
Was that fun?
Dude, I'm jealous.
Oh, dude.
I'm jealous, man, because I wasn't here, but I know.
Patrick was going to do a live Q&A in that one, and he was busy. But I was like, oh, man, that was a special car. It was a really special car. So yeah, guys.
And I told you too. You're like, dude. I was watching videos about it. I'm like, man, I'm so.
We'll get other Ferraris on the channel. It's been a while, but we'll get another one. I'm like thinking the Purosangi, however you say it.
The SUV.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
gonna ask about that one soon.
Cool.
All right, guys. You have a good rest of your weekend, and thanks for tuning in for the NSX Type S.
Thanks, GB. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.